Hey, welcome guys. Welcome to Just in Time. My name is Alma Merrill. I run a kind of a coaching group called the Closer Cult online. I have an online YouTube channel and an Instagram. Justin's a dear friend of mine. He asked me to come on here and share with you guys a little bit of information. Some of you guys I know saw me last time I hosted, and I'm thankful to be back. I got an incredible group of friends just from hosting this one time, and it was really cool to have all of you guys hit me up online. I shared with you some of my scripts and my dialogue that I use to get to close deals, to close transactions. I've been in the business just under 20 years. That's what you say when you've been in the business for 18 years, because it sounds cool. Yeah, let's get started right away. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and share a couple little stories about sales and kind of how I got into sales in general, and what it has done for me in my life and my business. So first, let's talk about wins. Hit the chat box up and share with me some of your wins. Let's talk about your wins. One of my wins was that I went out to Orlando this last week and found the neighborhood that I want to buy my next house in. So that's kind of cool. Now I just need to find the house. So set 2 appointments. 10 appointments booked in 3 days last week. Whoa, good grief, you guys. Wow, 1 closing, listed 3, picked up a lead in Target. Nice. Awesome. Rhonda got her license. Yeah. First closing July 31st. Beth got her first under contract. Well done. Congratulations. And that is awesome. You guys, I love to hear these wins. You know, even the small stuff is wins. You know, I got through my first basically chapter of the Florida real estate class, and I was excited to get through that. My wife just won. I got her license for the state of Florida. We've been wanting to sell in Florida for years. So we're excited to kind of pursue that dream that we have. So let's see some other wins. Submitted 2 offers, 2 investment homes for myself today. Nice, well done. Ashley got her listing, buyer under contract. Haley got 2 new under contract. Made it to the gym this morning. Nice. Never miss a Monday. There you go. So thankful to be on, guys. Back here on the wall, you'll see my the verbiage for my company here. So CLOZER CULT. So Closer Cult. A lot of people asked me last time I did this, is it CLOSER? No, it's not. It's CLZ, because Z's are badass, and that's how we roll. All right. What are we talking about? What are we talking about today? So today I wanted to talk about kind of some of the frustrations that a lot of us have when it comes to sales in general. I know that sales is somewhat daunting for a lot of people. And being candid, if I would have looked back even just 5 years and seen my business growth and the way that my clients respond to me over the last 5 years, man, if I would have known that 15, 20 years ago, it would have changed everything for me. And what I mean by that is that sales is so much more simple than we pretend it to be. We want to overcomplicate it, right? We want to overcomplicate it. We want to make it something that it's not. We want to make it something that's difficult. We want to make it something that's technical. Because when we look at sales, and this is one of the difficult things, society has created an environment where we think in order to be highly successful and to become millionaires, you either have to create a company, you have to get a degree of some kind and work for an incredible organization, okay? That's not the only way to become rich. Most of those ways, actually, most of the degrees out there don't make you rich. You still have to put in the effort and the time and the talent and the attention in order to make this stuff happen. And so sales is an interesting thing because you can literally just pick up a phone like I do, make some for sale by owner calls, and actually land deals and make millions of dollars a year. And it's wacky to think of that I literally need no education. I guess the only education you need is a real estate license, and I can close deals. In being candid, you don't even need that in order to make real estate money. You can go buy and sell and flip, use other people's money to buy investment properties, flip properties, wholesale properties, all without a license. So having a license makes a lot of that easier. Sometimes it overcomplicates some of that stuff. But here's the cool thing. You guys are mostly agents. You're mostly licensed agents or about to become licensed agents. And the nice thing is that now you get to control your world. You get to control your time. I'm going to share with you guys, in 1997, I was 18 years old. And I was offered my very first sales position, very first job. I had some buddies. We were living out in Southern California. I had all my buddies going to college. I don't know if a lot of you, some of you know my story, some of you don't. I couldn't read until I was 12 years old. I didn't learn how to start spelling until I was 21 years old. And so I had some limitations when it came to the environment that I grew up in and my ability to go to school. I couldn't go to college because I didn't graduate high school. And so all of my buddies were leaving, they're going to college. And I'm sitting here going, what in the world am I going to do? I'm 18 years old. All my buddies are leaving. They just graduated from high school. They're all educated. They have this bright future. And I'm sitting here in California, kind of up in this little mountainous community that my family lived in, called Devore, California, which I don't know, anybody heard of Devore, California? And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? I don't have any education. I just barely learned how to read not too many years ago. I don't even know how to spell good. Here I am. I'm 18 years old. I'm dating girls. I'm trying to be social, and I can't do half the things that most of my friends can do. And they're all going to college. So one of my buddies calls me up and he goes, hey, Alma, you're a good communicator. I'm going to do some sales and we're going to go door knocking, door to door, and we're going to sell pest control. I know a lot of you out there have probably done this. You've done door-to-door sales, you've done pest control, you've done alarm sales or satellite TV or cable or whatever. And so I was like, man, I can knock on doors. I can talk to people. I can't spell very good, but I can have somebody fill out their own information on a contract. So I decided to go do door-to-door sales. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, man, he's going to share with us this incredible story about how he came from no education and all this and just dominated the door-to-door sales market out in Birmingham, Alabama, right? Well, that's not exactly what happened. I went out to Birmingham, Alabama. We started knocking doors, and I realized, well, first of all, it's hot as hell in Birmingham, Alabama in the dead of summer, super hot. More like weather changes and thunderstorms and humidity than I've ever experienced in my life in Southern California. And so I start knocking doors, and I'm seeing all these guys like get deals and set appointments and get contracts and make money, and all this stuff started happening over the first couple of weeks. And my sales manager, Brian, was this great guy, and he's like, hey, it's okay. He goes, dude, you're going to make it. I talked to my district sales manager, Todd, and Todd's telling me, look, you're going to do it. You're going to be okay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a man named Todd, who started a small company called Vivint, if you're familiar with Vivint. And it's gone global now, and it's a huge company here out of Utah that does alarms and home security and home tech. And so he was my district manager at that time, and I would have these calls with Todd and say, man, I'm having the hardest time. I'm knocking all these doors. I'm using the script, right? I'm using the script, but I'm just not getting anybody to close. At the end of the summer, I came out to be the #1 worst salesperson on the entire group doing door-to-door sales. And the tough thing with that was that I owed them money when I left the sales market out there. So I actually owed them money for my gas bill, my electric bill, my rent. And I went home with my tail between my legs, and I thought, man, holy shit, sales is not for me. I'm not doing this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm beat down. I feel like a dirty dog that didn't get, never took a shower. I just felt like I was going through all these processes of trying to close people on the door and using these techniques, right, that the other guys are using that cause, and really it was just lying. I was just lying to people. I was telling things like, oh yeah, Barbara down the street, she signed up, and she told me that you would like to sign up. And they're going, Barbara, who the hell is my neighbor Barbara? I don't know who Barbara is. So I'm using all these techniques. So when I left that field, I just realized I left feeling like crap. I left feeling dirty. I left feeling unfulfilled. And I left feeling like I could not do sales, that it was not for me, that I was not going to be able to do it. So I kind of left deflated at that point in life. And I look back on kind of where I came from, what I had in front of me. All of my friends are going to get degrees. They have these bright futures. And I'm sitting here going, man, I can barely read. I can't spell. Like, I can't sell anything. People liked me on the doors, but they didn't want to work with me. They didn't want to buy from me. And I was like, man, what am I lacking? Like, what am I missing? My mind was like turning. And I remember the feeling. At the end of the summer, they transferred us out to Phoenix, Arizona, just to end up the summer. And it just felt like I was just done. I was dead. I was just exhausted. And I remember the feeling of just feeling defeated. Have any of you ever felt that moment where you just go, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to make it. I feel defeated. My heart hurts. My belief in myself is deteriorated. And I can't do it. I won't be able to do it, And that was really the first time, I think, in my life where I was kind of in that like trying to adulting, get into the adulting of my existence. And I just remember feeling just dark and empty and hurt and deflated. And I just didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And so I went back home and I told myself I would never do sales again. And long story short, I moved up to Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where some of my friends, I grew up as a Mormon, and some of my friends went to college up there. And so I went up to Salt Lake City just to be around them, even though I wasn't going to go to college. They were my social group. And so I went up to Salt Lake City, and they started going to college, and I'm sitting there going, man, what am I going to do? Well, then long story short, I started dating this girl, and she was in real estate. She was a broker's assistant, and she had just gotten her real estate license. And she goes, hey, I just closed my first deal. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, I sold a house. I was like, oh, that's cool. She's like, yeah, here's my check. And it was like 30 grand. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you just did one deal and made 30 grand. I would have been happy to make 30 grand over an entire summer of door knocking sales. I said, how long did that take you? And she's like, it was, about 60 days, something like that. I was like, what? Really? And you closed this deal and you made this money? And my mind just going, what? How did this work? And I said, what do I have to do this? She said, you have to go through real estate school. And I was like, oh, okay. How long's that? She said 120 hours. That's what ours was back then. Actually, it was 90 hours back then. Now it's 120. She goes, 90 hours. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. I've never done classroom. I don't know what I'm doing. I could barely spell, but I can memorize stuff pretty good. So I start working at this. By the time I'm done, I'm starting to kind of figure out this like spelling thing and the reading thing. And I'm starting to identify phonics and those types of things. And I passed my real estate test first try. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I didn't have any belief in myself. And here I am passing a real estate test, the first like classroom experience, the first legitimate test I've ever had. And I just passed. I'm like, oh my hell, I can actually like do this stuff, And I was like, okay, I passed. So now what? And fortunately, I joined this company. At that time, it was called Realty Executives of Utah. And fortunately, these amazing leaders that were over there by the name of George Morris and John Syatt and John Rhodes onboarded me to this company, and they started to guide me through the processes of making phone calls. That was it. They said, look, you don't have any COI or SOI. So you have no friends, no family out here, very few, contacts. They said, you're going to have to create your entire business. So imagine this, imagine if you were to go into a town and parachute in somewhere in the United States, and all of a sudden you have to create a business. They said, can you do that? And the answer obviously was yes. You can do that if you have certain skills. Now, last time I was here with you guys, and I was hosting Just in Time, I had a gentleman follow me, and I'm not sure if he's on here now. Maybe you are. I wanted to address this the next time that I came on here. And he said that he took my script that I shared with him, and he called 500, had 500 contacts using my script. And guess how many appointments he set? Any guesses? 0. 0. 0, guys. 0. None. He set no appointments. He had 500 contacts and he set no appointments using my script. What does that say to my script? It's absolute garbage, right? Isn't it? Isn't that what it says? Does it say that my script is garbage? What it actually says in reality is it says there's a certain skill that's also associated with the words on the script. And these skills are learned. It's the same thing of when I was on the doors and I spent that whole summer and I did like 30 deals where some guys were doing 30 deals in 5 days. I did 30 deals the entire summer using their same script. What were the skills that were lacking in my business? What were the skills? I knew the what. I knew what to say. But what am I missing? I'm missing the how. How do you say it? The presentation. Exactly, Carissa. Personal connection. Yes, Jennifer. Personal connection. I am missing that with these people. I am missing the questions I need to ask them, what their reasons are for potentially needing this service. Yes, confidence, believing in yourself, how to do it. This really yes, Priscilla, thank you. Those were the things I was missing. I'm going out there. I have this money breath, right? I'm like speaking to these people. I have the script and they're not closing with me. I'm making no money. And it was the same thing in real estate when I first started. When I first started and they gave me, I felt like what was a pretty damn good script. And I started, it took me 100 contacts to set my first appointment. And I thought, okay, those are my numbers, right? Those are my numbers right now. It's 100 contacts to set one appointment. Those are my numbers. How can I fix that? So I had to increase my skill level. I knew what to say, but I had to increase my skill level. And skill comes from nothing more than a high level of practice. Yes, love what you guys are saying. Tonality, the deliverance, how you greet the people. Sometimes it's how you pause, right? I'm talking really fast right now. Oftentimes when I have a conversation one-on-one with somebody, there's certain pauses that I take. I stop and look them in the eyes. And I say things like, what's most important to you about selling your home? Share with me. Help me understand. Write these down, guys, if you haven't. Help me understand. Share with me. What's most important to you about selling your home? What's most important to you about getting this done? These techniques, these things that you can say, these little kind of level shift phrases that you can say will cause people to feel like you're actually listening to them. And then I always repeat and affirm the things that they're saying. Now, some of you guys, this is old news. You've heard this stuff for years, right? But it's critical because we don't actually even do it. Even in our own relationships, like we could solve a lot of problems in our relationships if we just repeated and we affirmed what the person on the other side of the relationship was saying. Okay, so you're saying like you felt like your heart was broken. You're saying that you felt like that I wasn't listening to you. Is that right? And you're saying that you feel like you need more attention. Okay, that makes sense. I understand. Share with me what's most important to you about that. What kind of attention would you like now? Okay, those are all the things. If you really just take a step back, guys, I know we look at this and we kind of get into this mode of like, oh, I need to make money, right? And we get into this mode of just answering questions and trying to be the professional, when in reality, and also, we try to show them why we're so valuable. Don't we do that? Look, this is why I'm so valuable, because I do this kind of marketing, right? Because I have these leaders, because we sold X amount of homes. Guys, they don't give two shits. All they care about is how you care about them, how you show up for them. This is one of the biggest decisions of their entire life, one of the largest assets they will ever have. And they're asking you to handle the process of this for them, whether you're working with a buyer or you're working with a seller. Okay. Now, guys, I want to share something directly with the guys. Now, girls, you'll get a huge chunk out of this as well. Whenever I train people, I always want them to identify a couple of things. One is that I want them to identify the importance of their role. Your role in your relationship, as a man to your woman, as a woman to your man, is critical in you being able to do successful business. The reason I say that is because if something is lacking at home and things are not going the way they should be at home, does it affect your business? Shake your head if it does. Does it affect your business? It does. More than a skills-based business, this is a mind business. And one of the things I learned is that when I was out door knocking out in Alabama that summer, was that my brain was focused not on serving them, but on going back to the office that day and telling my coworkers what I had accomplished. Whereas if I would have just taken the time to serve one family that day, one family, and help them with their bug problem, it would have changed their life. And there were a couple connections I made like that. I remember knocking on this lady's door, and she opens it up, and she starts crying right when I was at our doorstep. And I was like, why are you crying? I'm selling bug spray, you know? And she goes, I need your service so bad, look. And I looked, and she kind of backs up, and I look into her living room, and she has cockroaches all over her walls in her house. For those of you who had experience with cockroaches, man, they breed fast. They love air conditioning. They love the environment that we love. They want to be one of us. And so they're everywhere. We pulled back the paintings on her wall and pulled back the pictures, and there were thousands of cockroaches that just shot up the wall. Thousands. That lady needed us so bad. So we gave her the service and sold her a contract and got pest control. And my manager was like, that was something different, bro. She needs a tent. Like, she needs a tent over her house that we completely fumigate. That's going to cost a lot more. But we ended up helping her and serving her family. Unfortunately, that was towards the end of my time out in the field. And so I didn't grasp that. I didn't grasp that concept. So now let's chat a little bit about some of the things that I do to get my mind right. First of all, try to make it right at home. Before you leave, before you go into the office, before you go into your room to work, whatever you do, let's get your mind right into a place. So first, get your mind right. Now, how do I do this? I'm going to share with you how I do this. This is not a religious thing. This is a spiritual thing. If we are, in fact, spiritual beings, maybe we are, maybe we're not, doesn't matter. Meditation really helps a lot. And so one of the things I do is I'll go in and I have a guided meditation. I like Tony Robbins. So I turn on, it's on YouTube. It's called Priming with Tony Robbins. And priming, meaning he's priming your mind. Okay, so I just go on YouTube. I pull up Tony Robbins Priming. It's 15 minutes and I sit down and I prime my brain for the good things I want to happen in my day. Alone, just me, alone. I do it alone. You can do it with a spouse, with a partner, whatever, but I do it alone because it enables me to get inside of my own place and to fix it. And he guides you through this meditation that helps to serve your mind in a way that can prepare you for all the bullshit that you're going to deal with today. That made me itchy. Yeah, cockroaches make me itchy too. So Tony Robbins priming, looks like she put a link in the chat maybe for that. And just sit with yourself and just go through your brain. This is not, like I said, it's not a religious thing. It's just getting all the fucked up things in your brain to get back to normal. Okay. So sit with yourself, get to normal, spend 15 minutes, get your brain right so that you can perform for the rest of the day. I promise you guys, you'll find that this is something that will really fix that brain F that you've been having. Because I know some of you have. I know I have. I'm changing so much in my life right now. I've had such a brain F. In order for me to stay focused and motivated, I have to do this stuff. Okay. The next thing I do is I do what's called a 10-10. Okay. I write down 10 things in my journal that I'm grateful for. And then I do 10 things in my journal that I want or that I want to happen. Okay. It could be a vacation I want to take, money I have in the bank, whatever. Okay. So it's 10-10, 10 things I'm grateful for, all my gratitudes, my life, my liberties, my joy, my income, my bank account, that loan I got that I needed really bad, the bill I was able to pay, all of those things are gratitudes. You have to start with those gratitudes. 10 things I'm grateful for. The next 10 things are the things I want or the things that I want to happen. I want $40,000 in my bank account. I want to pay off this bill that's been over my head. This loan that I got, I want to pay it off. Those are the things you want. And I do this every day. And I do the same things every day and gratitudes. And I do those 10 things that I want every day. And it creates in my mind a clear mental picture, clear mental image of what I want to accomplish. Okay. And those are the two things that have been the most powerful for me in getting my brain straight. Getting out of that funk that you have. Okay. And then I'm going straight to work and I'm tackling the most important things first. Number one thing I'm tackling. I'm not tackling emails. I'm not, none of that. So I do that stuff after 11:30. Okay. So I'm on the phones. I'm setting appointments. I'm talking to clients. I'm doing deals right away. I'm making that money. Those are the things. Now, if you guys want, I know this isn't really a prospecting. I'm not doing a prospecting thing right now, but if you want, you go on my closer cult on Instagram and YouTube. Just follow me on there. And then if you guys have questions, I have a script, a for sale by owner and expired script that I use, that if you are at zero, you have no clients, okay? And I know some of you do, because I've gotten there several times this year where I've had 0 clients. It's never happened in my business in almost 20 years. But this year, I've had 0 clients in some instances. I'm grateful for the 3 or 4 that I have right now. But what I'm saying is these things are, the market is moving so fast and it's moving in such a weird direction that the minimum standard that you need to know is the phones. You need to know the phones, because if your SOI or your COI dries up, you got to be able to get on the phones and create more clients, new clients. And you got to be able to do it in a way that people respond to you really well. Now, if I would have known this crap back when I was knocking doors, I would have been a lot more successful. But back then I didn't know this stuff. And so I struggled and I struggled and I struggled. And it took me 10, 15 years to really learn this. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to share with you guys this script. And then you go on my YouTube and I'll share with you how to go through the script, how you say the script. Then you'll know how to get people on the phones to say yes to you. Come over. Yes, please come over. Share with me. Now, this same script is good, not just for sale by owners and expireds. It's good for all of your conversations. You can just tweak it a little bit. Just add the verbiage, the additional verbiage, right? Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is what is your purpose? Just write it down real quick, guys. If you have a pen and paper in front of you there, what is my purpose / calling? Okay. What's your purpose? What's your calling? Now, are those two different things? I think they are. Because sometimes we know what our calling is, but we don't know what our purpose is. Or sometimes we have a calling that we're working in, we're having a hard time finding our purpose. Or sometimes we feel like we know what our purpose is, but we just don't know who's calling us to be there, whether it's an organization that we need to be in, it's people that we need to lead, it's someone that we need to help. So what is my purpose? What is my calling? Each one of you has a purpose. You have a calling. It could be right now raising my kids. It could be right now building this company. None of them are more important than the others. Some of you are going to go, what? Wait a second. I thought raising my kids is the most important thing. It is, but the most important thing is to take care of them and make sure they have food on the table and clothing to wear. That's number one. And in order to do that, you have to get your business where it needs to be. So what is my purpose? What's my calling? Okay. Now, guys, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I wanted to share with you guys this book. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. I know some of you guys have probably read this book. Some of you haven't. It's by David Dia or Dita. Remember, I can't read, so you guys are gonna have to read that for me. I can now. But The Way of the Superior Man is a book that I read that really helped me step out of, because guys, when stuff gets hard at home, don't the lines get blurred a little bit on who does what and how we're supposed to do it? Ladies, if you have a man in your life, don't you expect him to be that aspect of your relationship? And men, if there's a problem with you connecting with your calling as a man and your purpose as a man, as a provider, and as a leader, you need to read this book. Ladies, you need to read this book because you need to understand that fucker that's next to you. Some of y'all don't even understand who you're sleeping with. Guys, you're going to understand yourself better. Girls, you're going to understand him better. Now, listen, I realize there's different types of partnerships out there. Okay, you're going to have a masculine, you're going to have a feminine. Heterosexual versus homosexual relationships work exactly the same way, in my opinion. You have to have polarity in a relationship in order for it to function correctly. You have to have phenomenal polarity. And what I mean by that, hang on with me on this, is that you have to have the masculine, feminine energies in the right direction. And this book will help guide you into that process. Why is this so important for your business? It's because if this isn't straight and you guys don't know your roles, you don't know your character and your purpose, you won't know how to guide your business. You won't know how to guide your clients. You won't know how to be a great leader. This is one book that I read that helped me do that on a very high level. By understanding myself, I understood my woman a lot more. By understanding myself, I understood my woman a lot more. And it helped me be there in the ways that I needed to be there and to show up on the level that I needed to show up. You can do this shit without having success in your business. You can do this right now today without having money in the bank. This is a mental game right here. Get it right. Get your brain right, guys. Get your mind in a spot that enables you to perform on the highest level for your calling. I appreciate the head nods. A lot of you are going, yeah, that makes sense. Because the lines get blurred, guys, don't they? Don't the lines get blurred? They do. They get blurred because you get in, like, my lines get blurred all the time because I have 4 daughters, okay? 3 of them are still at home, and I put them to bed every night. I do this, like, I go from this masculine character of production in my business, training and leadership, mentoring other agents, and then I go home and I sit down in this quiet place, in this quiet space. I lay with my little girls and I sing and we pray and we tell stories and we read stories. And it's really hard when you get into that soft, gentle place sometimes to go back out and do the things that we need to do as men. We feel like our lines get blurred sometimes. but it's important to be somewhat of a chameleon. It's important to be in a place where we can provide both sides when necessary. And that's an important aspect of who we are. Okay, so Amanda just put up here, I'm single as a penny, but it was a great read for understanding and perspective. So you read it. That's awesome, Amanda. Thank you. Great book, guys. Great book to read. Great book to understand. I highly recommend it. Get it on Audible. It's just as good. It's amazing. I always get it because I like to sometimes mark out or read stuff. So when I'm giving presentations, I can do stuff like this. But I hope some of this stuff was helpful. Worst case scenario, guys, you can always paint curbs. Worst case scenario, you can always paint addresses on curbs. You'll never run out of houses to paint their curbs. That's what I always said to myself. I'm like, man, if I go so broke and I lose so much in my life, the last case scenario, I can always paint curbs. I know where to get spray paint really cheap at Walmart. I can stencil out the address numbers on curbs, and I can paint curbs and make, 20, 30 bucks for painting somebody's curb. But we don't want to get to that, do we? We don't want to get to that point. And the market is tough right now. It's tough for all of us. And you guys have the power within you to not get to that point. You have the power within you to change your life, but it's going to take some stuff that you're not excited or happy to do. We don't get paid to do the easy shit, guys. We get paid to do the tough shit. We get paid to step out, take the extra step, wake up another hour or two earlier and get our minds right, and then go do the tough shit. That's why we get paid the big bucks. It is not to sit on our asses and do what comes to us. It's to get out and go make it happen. Remember when you went to get your license, how excited you were to go kick ass? That's what this does. Getting your mind right helps you do this, to get you to the next level, and then go join with some other people that are on the same level as you. I'm so glad that you guys come and you participate in these events. It makes me so excited that you do this, because it shows me how intentional you are on creating the life you want to have and ultimately living your dreams. And you can literally do it multiple ways. You can do it by knocking on people's doors and asking them if they need to sell their house. You can do it by picking up the phone, using my script, getting people to say yes over the phone. You go meet with them, you list their properties, you sell their properties, then they become your buyer, you go help them buy. That's it. I mean, really, it really is that simple, but our brains have to be in the place where we can actually accomplish these things. Hey, Lex, glad to be back. Thank you so much. Robin, thank you for putting that up. Amazon has a paperback version for $12. Kindle is $9.99. Rhonda is ready. Yeah, there we go. It's got the Audible on Amazon. Good job. Thriftbooks.com for purchasing good quality used books. Thanks, Amanda. Do any of you guys have any additional questions for me before I close? Will you take the next step? Will you take the moment that's in front of you right now, change the bullshit that you know needs to be changed, fix the little shit that you need to fix, and get yourself to that next level? I know it's hard. I know it is. I can see it on some of your faces. I can smell the burden of your energy from here. But it is those people that take that daily effort, the daily task, and they do the things that cause them to succeed on a high level that actually do. John Baker, the title is The Way of the Superior Man. Guys, again, my name's Alma Merrill. Hit me up on Instagram. I do answer my Instagram. Also, I have a YouTube channel with lots of content. I'll send you a link if you guys want some scripts and some dialogues. They're private links. So when you hit me on Instagram, just send me your email address and I'll send you these YouTube links as well and the script. So I just want to thank again, Justin Nelson, Spring Benson. You guys are amazing. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to come out here and share with you some of the stuff that I've learned over these years, because without learning it, man, it's pointless. Without being able to share it with other people, it is pointless. And this is some of the shit that's gotten me out of the darkest places and pushed me into the amazing, amazing directions in my life, where I would go from literally pulling change out of the couch cushions to that very same year buying my very first $700,000 home. This is literally what you can do. You can literally change your trajectory in the same year. So thank you guys. I hope you have a phenomenal week. And we'll see you guys hopefully another time on Just in Time. See you guys.